Do you think you just fell out of a coconut tree? Vice President Kamala Harris is the topic of the moment, as she might well be the next US president. And everyone online has been revisiting some of her most iconic and baffling moments, and there's plenty.
I love Venn diagrams. Do not come. Okay, so there's some education that needs to be done. A pot of water, a couple bay leaves, a little sugar. And as always, Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
So today on Scroll Deep, we'll be rounding up those memes and asking, will America be having its second meme president? And more importantly, are you coconut pilled? On Scroll Deep, with me, Benedict Townsend, the show that keeps up with internet nonsense so you don't have to. It's election day here in the UK and we're feeling political, and everyone is talking about Vice President Kamala Harris. The weird thing about Kamala is that there's two sides of her. One is an extremely competent and confident, highly educated and pretty ruthless politician and lawyer, and the other is the most fun aunt you've ever met in your life, who seems hopped up on goofballs 24/7 and who is just a meme producing machine.
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
Now, the modern story of Kamala began in 2020 when Joe Biden announced that he was looking for a running mate, and he specifically said he was looking for a black woman to be his vice president.
What if I told you we were putting a team together?
I just love good news.
But top of the list was Kamala Harris, a senator who herself had run for president that year, and actually done very badly because she's not a very good public speaker, and also she has a pretty controversial record from when she was a DA in California. She was always locking people up. And when Biden picked her, there was a little bit of a vibe of like, is he picking her because she's not a threat to him? Because her opinion polling has always been just underwater. The public do not like her, mainly because she's basically incomprehensible a lot of the time.
For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present.
Except for now, of course, when she's much more popular than Joe Biden, but we'll get to that. So anyway, Kamala becomes VP, piece of history, first woman, first black person, first Indian person to become vice president, and immediately she hits the ground running with
We did it, Joe.
an iconic meme, like a genuinely iconic meme that has lasted to this day. That was day one. That was the day they got elected. We did it, Joe! You're the President of the United States.
Hello, Madam Vice President. Hello, Senator Bennett.
Joe Biden then started handing Kamala probably the most cursed assignments a VP could have. It really felt like he was trying to sabotage her. Anytime there was something uncomfortable to do, he would send her. He'd be like, there's a crisis at the border? Just send her. I'm not going. But she took those nuggets of pain and turned them into meme gold. Like the time she was walking up to a bus and just started singing The Wheels on the Bus, but to completely the wrong melody.
On the bus, go round and round.
In a way that kind of makes her seem like the Joker.
On the bus, go round and round.
And thus began a vice presidency marked by laughter, joy, and general confusion. Because there's three flavors of a Kamala moment. First up, we have the times where she's trying to talk and just can't stop laughing. Like when she was talking about straws on the news.
Like if you don't gulp it down immediately, it starts to bend.
Yes.
And we gotta kind of perfect that one a little bit more.
So you'd ban it?
The vice president is not a very serious position. The president nukes people, the vice president goes on morning news shows and talks about straws. The second flavor is the sort of nonsense word salad, where she just says loads of words that make no sense. It's probably her biggest weakness as a politician, is that you cannot get her to stay on topic for more than 3 minutes. Like the time she said, quote,
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
nothing technically wrong with that statement, it's just not English. Or the time she spoke about her love of Venn diagrams.
I really do. I love Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles and the analysis about where there is the intersection, right? Yeah, I see people that you agree with me, right?
But then there's the third category, which is her sayings. Kamala cracks out a classic saying and treats us to some wisdom, or more often, cracks out the same saying over and over and over again. Like the phrase, quote,
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
which she has said so often that someone recently on Twitter was able to put together a 5-minute long compilation of her saying it over and over again. Do you know how many times you have to say a phrase, a one-sentence phrase, for it to fill 5 minutes? But of course, the most iconic Kamala Harris saying of all is the mighty coconut soundbite, where she said, I'll let her take it away.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Which is apparently something her mother used to say, and it is great for so many reasons. First of all, the delivery, where she's cracking up and then very serious. She's like, I actually need to stop laughing for this because this is important. Second of all is the fact that it does make sense and is actually kind of profound and you could apply it to your life. Like, you do exist in the context of what came before you. And I didn't fall out of a coconut tree. I'm a human. Like, the sheer amount of coconut tree memes is just beautiful. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It is like a bountiful coconut tree that just keeps dropping memes on us. So you got that side of her, but the thing about Kamala in general is that she has two modes, right? She's either coconut maxing or she is grilling people like an absolute expert. Like, before she was vice president, before she ran for president, she was kind of known as being the most competent, most excellent person in Senate hearings, where she would just absolutely grill people, like the potential Supreme Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh. She like ripped him to shreds. So it's bizarre that she's either completely laser focused and knows what she's doing, or she's telling us about how we need to be unburdened by what came before us. And now we come to the current year. Joe Biden is absolutely underwater politically at the time of recording after a disastrous debate performance where he appeared so decrepit and disoriented that even Donald Trump didn't have the heart to insult him about it. Like, Donald Trump actually looked bummed out throughout that debate. He was like, damn, this guy is so tired and old. After that debate, there were basically universal calls from even like the mainstream media that Biden needs to go because it was so bad. And Trump, to his rare credit, has just not said anything. It's that classic never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. He's just like, I'll leave him to it. And now, with Biden floundering and the prospect of a second Trump presidency, everyone's like, what do we do? I know. I'll break the fake tooth I have in the back of my mouth that contains not a cyanide pill, but a Kamala pill. And it's time to take the Kamala pill. Do you take the blue pill? You wake up back in the Matrix. You take the red pill and you fall from the coconut tree and you understand the context in which you live. And she has some stuff going for her, honestly. First of all, she does better against Trump in polling. Still not great. She's still like pretty historically unpopular, but she's better than Biden. She's also funny and a character, which gets you very far in US politics. Every recent US president has been a character. You have to go all the way back to George Bush Sr. before you get to someone who isn't a character, and he only served one term because he wasn't enough of a character. He was too much of a psycho.
A little sugar, a little cup of peppercorns. You could even do a little slice of orange, something like that. Oh, yes, hi.
As Kylie Brakeman put it on Twitter, quote, something we are underestimating of Kamala Harris is her ability to go toe-to-toe with Trump in a nonsensical tangent. That's the thing. That's Trump's greatest power, is that he's very funny. I think he's a very evil man, but he's extremely funny. And Kamala is also very funny. And, you know, if Trump in a debate tried to go off and start doing his, like, nonsense tangent stuff, she could do that too. And I don't think Trump knows how to defeat that. Trump only knows how to defeat people who are trying to do it normally. But if Kamala came out and started being like, well, hold on, you've been a bit context phobic here. It's giving coconut tree vibes. I don't know if Trump could handle that. I think this tweet kind of sums it up. Someone said, quote, I'm a K-hiver now. The K-hive is like her fan base because it's somehow both the soberly correct stance and the funny irony poisoned stance. And it's true, it's funny to say you support her, but it's also probably the only realistic thing that the Democratic Party can do now. So it's both the funniest solution and the most correct one. So long live God Emperor Kamala, hopefully rule until the sun burns out. Get her the spice, give her Arrakis. We will join her in the K-hive. We will join her in the K-hole.
We need you to be Mamala of the country.
Your face. There's constant comparisons between her and the show Veep, probably because Veep is based on the real world. Everyone's like, this is uncanny. It's like, yeah, they just based Veep on the things that happen. Someone pointed out that probably the most Veep set of circumstances would be if Joe Biden wins, then dies, and then she becomes president, but for like 1 month. That would be the most Veep. I'm not saying that's a good situation, I'm just saying that would be the most Veep situation that could happen. But what do you think of our vice president? Do you think she would be a better president than Joe Biden? I think probably yes. I think at this point, basically anyone would be a better president than Joe Biden, except Donald Trump. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And also comment your favorite Kamala memes down below, your favorite Kamala moments, because there's so many, we haven't even included them all in today's episode. But this has been Scroll Deep, your #1 source for insightful political news. We've always got the latest political insights. And if you made it this far, give the episode a like, or if you're on YouTube, give it a subscribe. You've made it this far into the episode. You've experienced all the context of what came before, and so you now have to like and subscribe to justify it. It makes perfect sense. And with that, we did it! We made it to the end of the episode. We did it, Joe! We made it to the end of the episode. Oh, I want to leave you probably with the most cursed joke I've ever made, which is Tia was like, what does her laugh sound like? And I was like, she sounds a bit like Jimmy Carr. And so I said Jimmy Kamala Harris. Not good. Comment your favorite coconut dish down below. For me, it's got to be a coconut. Classic coconut.